What's up, guys? Hope you all are doing well. Today, I have a special treat, a special honor is what I'm going to say. So, Efren Ramirez, we are in his home gym and my jaw is on the ground. That's what I'm gonna say. My jaw is on the ground. As you guys know, I love vintage weights. Love them. I brought you guys along on different journeys of me building my collection. And like quite literally, I just walked into the collection of all collections. And I can say that hands down, and we haven't even started going on a tour at all. So how you doing, brother?
Good. Welcome. So glad that you're here.
This is incredible, man.
Thank you.
This is so incredible.
Thank you.
I don't even know where to start. I'm looking around and I've seen what you have posted on Instagram, and what you will do is give little snippets, right? Like it's just a little taste of, hey, here's some eye candy if you like weights, right? And I mean, this is unreal, man. Unreal.
Thank you.
Like, I don't even know where to start.
Thank you.
Where would you even say?
I can show you if you want to start maybe by over there.
Okay. Look at these.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a full Jackson 1A set. And the crazy thing, or the thing that I love the most about some of this stuff, is that you can trace it back owner to owner to owner all the way to the beginning.
That's incredible.
So that's the thing that I love the most, that I know that eventually it's going to pass on.
Totally.
And my daughters or somebody else
is going to get it.
So I love it.
That's insane, man. I mean, it's the history of this stuff is I'm fascinated by it as well. I think one of the most interesting things is if the weights could tell a story.
Exactly.
Right? And
exactly.
now you're figuring out the story.
That's exactly right.
But to have it such an awesome thing, man, to have pictures and to know that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all just right here, you know?
Yeah, I actually have the original invoice for this set for the owner who bought it. His name was Frank in Utah.
Okay.
And so it's unbelievable to be able to see it. Oh, he bought it in 1959, and it's a complete set. And then it went to a big time collector. It eventually went to me. So it's just amazing.
That is amazing. I mean, it's incredible, right? The history, and for people that even have a clue about what that is, it's just unreal. It's unreal, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are my old Milo. So essentially, Milo was the very first American company who actually produced strength equipment on a large scale.
Okay.
And this was in the beginning of the 1900s, and they're the ones that basically came up with the kettlebells with the loadable weights. Prior to this, they were always usually shot, that you would load shot.
And I've seen some older barbells that were shot loaded.
Yep, I have some of those.
I'm assuming we'll probably get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but there were essentially the very first ones that actually came up with the actual plates.
That's so neat.
And so there's a bunch of different generations. What's funny though is that back then, the globes, it seems like most people would just buy the globes and stuff them with whatever. The plates themselves are extremely hard to get.
Interesting.
Yeah, really hard to get.
Interesting.
So you almost have to find them one at a time.
Where did you find the majority of these?
All over.
Just everywhere.
All over. And a lot of the times, I have to piece them together one at a time. And they all have markings, and so you have to figure out, make them complete set. I mean, this is taking me years.
I bet it has, man.
Yeah.
When did you start? What year did you start?
Probably 5 years ago is when I got really into it.
Okay.
And that's where, with the help of the community, learning from prior collectors that have been, around for a long time.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, as we all are, we've been standing on the shoulders of everybody who came before us.
For sure.
And the same thing with collecting.
Yes.
And so it's just been over time, little by little, and it's, been. Now I help a lot of people, and people help me, and so
Absolutely.
It's a little bit of a mutual.
You bring people up too.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
All the time.
Here's
Yeah, I know.
That's the one, man.
This is the one.
That is the one. The 12s.
Yeah.
The 12s are it, man. That's something. That's something I am missing. Yeah, the 12s for sure, man. There's not very many of those. What? How
No.
many known pairs? 4?
I think maybe like 5, maybe.
Okay.
The weirdest thing actually is that they were just never even advertised. So in all the York catalogs and literature,
Never.
they never even talked about it. Everything else, 1, 2, 3, 4, but they,
Yes.
for whatever reason, they never even talked about it. But
Yeah.
they found them.
Yeah, 4 or 5. That's insane.
Here you can see actually the pan for the kettlebells. See, this is 1919. This is one of the later ones.
Okay.
And it's the actual patent for it, for when they actually created it. And you can see, the.
Isn't that fascinating?
Here, try this out. So this is a 100-year-old grip tester,
Okay.
and it's by the company Narragansett from Northeast.
Okay.
And actually, they created a lot of the equipment, like the Titanic and all kinds of different things.
Interesting.
So you just go and you squeeze it, and that's it. It's like a little manual squeezer.
Is there a side that's
No, you
like?
just. I'm sure you're gonna max it out.
Like that?
Just you max it out.
It's funny. I had to, as the dial was coming around, I had to move my finger out of the way to get it, let it go.
I think I can only get to like 130 or so, and of course you max it out.
Nice, man. How
Pretty cool though, right?
that is insane.
I love it.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
That's so neat. And where did this come from?
That actually came from a fellow collector. I traded for it.
Did you?
That's one of the things you always have to. Sometimes, money is not it. It's
Sure.
not everything. You have
You've
to
gotta
be able
trade
to.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest things I've seen, man. How neat is that? That is so cool.
Thank you. I'm
And
glad you like
you
it.
got all the salesman
Yeah.
weights.
And the little ones, these are hard to get, the little globe ones.
Yeah. I would love a pair of those. Yeah.
Yeah, those are hard to get. And, my Sandow grippers and my Jawed dumbbells and other
So
dumbbells.
my wife got me a pair of these for my birthday.
Yes.
Right? That was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. How rare are these? Because I didn't know a lot. I was trying to do a little bit of research.
They're hard to get complete with
Okay.
all the springs.
So I got it with all the springs, but in the box as well.
The box is hard to get.
Yes.
The tin.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
tin, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what's interesting is that a lot of people don't know. So this one is just pure pressure, right? You just grip
Yep.
it. This one is not as hard, but
Yep.
what you do is you hold it and
While
you do
you're-
exactly.
Yep. So it was neat. So the person that she got them from actually printed out the manual, and it was fascinating to read. And it's just kind of talking about what was tied to the exercise, right? And so squeezing them and doing different workouts.
Yes.
It was so neat, man. Like those are really cool.
Yes.
So I was, she of course gives it to me, and I'm like, whoa, this is great. It's like the stuff like that. Just
She's a keeper.
I love it, man. Right? Yeah. I don't
these
know
are
if you guys can see, like this smile is not leaving my face. And now we are quickly approaching one thing that is unbelievable on the swole, but we'll get there. Yeah.
So these are my Jackson globes. And I'm sure you know how difficult these things are to get.
They're very very difficult,
Especially fully marked and everything, but it's taking me years, and you have to get them one pair at a time because they're just incredibly hard to get. I actually still missing a couple of singles, but
Yeah.
the thing that I love about them though is that the casting on them is beautiful.
That
The
is
York ones are
beautiful.
nice,
Yes.
but the Jacksons are just incredibly
It's
well made.
Just the attention to detail.
Exactly.
So what year did they start? Was this 50s?
This started actually have the original ad in the 40s.
In the 40s.
40s
Okay.
and
Okay.
50s were really like the big years for them.
Okay.
And then later on, they made them, and actually even once he sold off his company, the foundry continued making them without the name. So that's what they refer to them as the Wax Jackson. So they just put wax over it.
Gotcha.
They don't have the
but
name.
the actual where it's got Jackson on it was
40s and 50s.
50s.
A little 60s.
Okay.
But yeah,
But
they're just beautiful.
Jackson never went into a round head model of dumbbell.
No,
Okay, so
No,
it's
that's all he did.
only the globes.
that's all he did.
That's
Globes
incredible, man.
and obviously the weights. And then here's my
Yeah.
this is one of the first things that I did actually years ago. I called it, my wall of fame, and I have the big Zubers and my early Jacksons and some Yorks and other things. That's actually one of my favorite Yorks of all time. It's I got it from a family who had the full complete set.
Okay.
Bars and collars and weights. And that is from as early as the 1930s, the late 1930s. It's considered the second generation.
That's
and the unbelievable part about that is that most of the ones that you find are cracked because the hub is just almost too thick.
That hub is incredible.
Yeah.
Man.
And this one is in
So
pristine condition.
from the 30s.
Late 30s through the early 40s.
Wow.
They didn't actually make them that much because again, they were cracking.
Sure. So and then they changed.
They changed to the normal that with the longer spokes all the way out.
Yes.
The thinner.
That deep dish
Yep.
there.
Yep.
So the 30s and 40s, and then 50s.
So basically,
like
it was
40s and
the
50s.
big tall letter that you saw, the big
Yes.
York. That's
Yep.
number 1.
Okay.
Number 2,
Okay.
and then number 3 and 4.
That's cool, man. And then they like this one. This one has the.
This one has a little number, yeah,
Got it.
and this one doesn't.
Got it.
Yeah.
And those were close though, right? Like where they.
So these
putting
these
numbers
were
or-
around for a long time. The ones that were not marked, they call them marked and not marked.
Yep.
It's a little bit. It's not clear exactly when they made these.
Okay.
Because essentially, the pattern for the marked ones is actually the same as the pattern for the kilogram ones. They actually made these really special kilogram ones.
And those are more rare.
Those are more rare.
Yeah.
And supposedly, the story goes that they made them for the 1952 Olympics in Europe.
Okay.
And actually, these came from Europe, from my friend in Europe.
You got them
And,
from Europe.
yeah,
That's amazing, man.
But if you notice, the hub on these is actually a little bit shorter, shallower, compared to the regular Yorks. And
Okay.
these are actually the same mold as the marked 45s.
Okay.
So if you ever actually try them,
Yeah.
one of them is harder to hub than the other one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the kilo compared to
Those two are the same.
Okay.
But compared to
So
the
an
regular York,
unmarked plate.
the unmarked
Got
plate
it.
is a little bit taller.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I have to say that the Zubers are for me probably my favorite. Right? Like I mean the 50s obviously are insane. 150s there's not as many.
There's not that many. Yeah.
Yeah, and the 200s are
The 150 and the 200 are about the same. I think
Okay.
they with 10 pairs or so still around.
Got it.
Yeah, there's not that many of them. And obviously, knowing they were used at the very first World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
And
the hundreds were. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the hundreds.
Yep.
So
Which is
actually, do you want to see? Because I actually have some of. It's kind of dark now. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but this is actually from the Zuber gym. All that stuff is from the actual gym itself.
that's so
And then
cool,
the
man.
globe is from Bill Pearl. So
Okay.
Leo Stern and Bill Pearl made it for his Strongman Act.
Wow.
And basically, the story goes that he was the only one that has ever lifted it. And it's
Overhead.
actually not that heavy. It's only about 350, 360.
Okay.
The issue is that the bar is very flexible.
Interesting.
And so it's a little hard.
yeah. Yeah. No, that's so this is all from
But all of
Zuber's
this,
gym.
all of outside is all from Zuber's gym, and it's from the actual Zuber's gym. It's interesting. The story goes that a fellow who was friends with Bob Zuber Sr., he actually kept all the equipment in his garage for
Wow.
40 years. And so one time there was an ad for old weights. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check it out.
Yes.
And I went out. It was like a time capsule. It was unbelievable. It was like
So he didn't
going
say
back
from
in time.
Zuber's gym. He just said old weights.
Old weights.
Wow.
So, and it was basically his nephew who was selling everything after he had passed. And but yeah, it was once we pulled it all out, it was incredible. And Zuber, so it was
Because
incredible.
that was in California.
Yes, that was
right?
in it was actually about 15 minutes from here.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so check this out. So this is the largest collection of ship wheel colors in the world. Like it's not even close.
That's not even close. Yeah.
So I have, and I probably shouldn't say this because nobody really knows, but I have 42.
Wow.
42 ship wheel pairs.
Wow.
And it's taken me a long time. For many years, actually, I would trade York deep dish and other things for collars, and people thought I was crazy. But that's
Sure.
what I liked. That's what I wanted. I was really passionate about them.
Yep.
And so I love them.
You said your whole collection started with collars.
Yeah.
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 That's. I mean, just that people don't understand the value. Literally, the value just on that wall is it's unbelievable.
It's a good amount.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
That
it's a good amount.
It's honestly crazy. Like crazy. Yeah. All right. I want to hear about this.
Okay, so over time, I ended up just loving the circus globes, and I never really talked about them much.
Yeah.
But just a little bit at a time, I ended up having just my whole collection. And one of the very first ones that I got that I was so special is this one. It's the only one that we know of, and it's a Jackson globe.
Wow.
And it's from the late 30s, early 40s, and it's just amazing.
That's late 30s, man.
We actually have the ads. And
For it?
What's interesting, yeah, for the interesting part is that it belonged to Sam Luprinzi, which was a big-time bodybuilder. The whole family had gyms in Oregon. They had like a bunch of brothers, and at some point, I guess they had an estate sale, and that was one of the pieces. They had incredible pieces out there, but I really liked the globe, and I was fortunate enough to get it.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, I got it because a lot of collectors didn't know what it was.
Interesting.
And so I was able to, wait a minute, like I think I've seen it somewhere.
Yes.
I was able to find the ad. It's like, oh my goodness, like it's the Jackson
so
globe.
you discovered what it was.
Yes.
Wow.
And I was able to get it, negotiate with the seller. But otherwise, if it had been
this
publicly
would be the
known.
earliest Jackson globe then, or one of them.
In terms of the globe, oh yeah, that's early.
Did he model the globe dumbbells after this, you think?
It's interesting because these are shot loaded.
Okay.
And so it's possible that as he was making them, obviously he was forming all the patterns.
Yes.
I'm sure he did because they're very nicely rounded, as you can tell. I mean, they're
It's honestly
incredibly
beautiful.
well made.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So
And the
look,
concept.
let me show you. So it went from this right here, which is a very early Milo,
Okay.
and if you notice, look at the screws on the outside. It wasn't the greatest. This came in 1905, and look how it's recessed, so it doesn't actually hit you.
Sure.
But even then, this wasn't plate loaded. It was still shot loaded.
Okay.
After that, this came, which was 1908, which was the very, very first generation of the Milo plate loaded ones, the triplets, Milo triplets.
Wow.
And these are plate loaded, but half of it is shot loaded. So half you can put shot through here, and then the outside has plate loaded. Then later, they made the ones that are full plates, so the duplex ones, and you can see how they have the rim here.
Yep.
They made a couple different sizes, this one, and then the bigger ones. And then somewhere in there, this is a Strongford. This is just all plate loaded. You can see it's all plates. And then these are modern. Actually, what's interesting is Osmo Kija, about 30 years ago, he made those as replicas of these to be able to use the Milo plates. And so those are modern, but they're basically, using that as the inspiration for it.
That's awesome.
So 30 years ago.
They were doing this as well as the kettlebells,
Exactly.
kind of at the same time. So almost developing a modern kettlebell and dumbbell.
So what's interesting is they actually were really smart in the design. It's the same globe, and you can use it for a dumbbell, a barbell, and a kettle.
Wow.
It's just a different handle.
Isn't that neat, man?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you could transition it. So
Yeah.
if you owned it,
Yeah.
that's, man.
So that's where I did, what I called my Iron Beast. Basically, I designed it, and I asked a friend who did welding to help me. But essentially, it was my way of being able to display all my really, really
This
rare
is
plates,
awesome.
and in a very small footprint. And these are essentially some of my favorites.
Man, that's
This one actually, this pair is really special to me. York made it. It's the only pair that York ever plated, and they gave it to Norb when he broke the world record in 1963. So those were actually his.
wow. And there's only one pair.
There's only one pair.
Is that
There's actually two pair because it was a set.
okay?
But my buddy actually has the other pair. We split them.
Okay.
But yeah,
So that's the only ones that they made.
the only ones they ever
chrome-plated.
chromed.
That's. I don't even know. Like I walked in here saying the Zubers are my favorite, but I don't know if you're changing my mind, man. If you had a favorite?
Oh no!
I know. Then that's a terrible thing. It's almost like an impossible question.
It really is. It really is.
Okay, our top three. You could go top three.
Okay, so these are they just have a special place in my heart.
Makes sense.
100%.
Makes complete sense. And
The next ones, honestly, I would probably say the first generation Jacksons,
okay.
just because they are. I mean, if you think about, that was in the late 30s, and look at the design.
Yes.
It's flawless.
It is.
I mean, it's unbelievable how incredible he was able to do that. And then after that, I don't know. I mean, definitely the York tall letters are really hard to get, and
Yeah.
they're just unbelievable. They're iconic.
Those are iconic. Yeah.
The British Association ones, the red ones down there, they were actually used at the Olympics in 1948.
Wow.
The Berg ones, are from the early 1930s. So technically, these are what York got inspired from.
So those are 1930s.
Those are early 1930s. It's hard to pick.
I can't even imagine.
And then I have, the ones on the wall, and then the ones
Sure.
over there, and
Sure.
yeah, it's hard to pick.
I mean, I can't even imagine, really, because you're looking at history. But
And then look at this. So this is the only one in 30 that's known in the world. There's only two, a 30 and a 50. And the story goes that he actually used them to train with the king, Sandow, in
Really?
England. Yeah,
now, did that come from overseas?
yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Came from England. And actually, let me go show you something. Years ago, there was very little known out there in terms of what is out there and how do we know what's what and how do we make trades and how do we as a community continue to grow.
Yes.
That's actually one of the reasons, if you see the Iron Guide, that's actually why I made that. And my wife a few years ago, it's really right, it ended up was being just an online PDF guide, but my wife helped me print it.
Okay.
And now I'm actually going to help people make a printing out of it. But I made this so that people can learn and people can know, and they don't have
awesome.
to go and find stuff, because before this there was nothing really consolidated. Nobody
Yes.
really talked about and you know what's funny? These are actually yours.
Are they?
These are actually yours.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Man.
Yeah.
So you got pictures from them.
The person who you got them from
Okay.
sent me these pictures.
Really?
So these literally are the ones that you have in your
How
gym.
cool is that, man?
Which is, again, what I was telling you.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can trace it back from person to person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I love them. Obviously.
Yeah.
That's
So anyway,
super
I've been
neat.
working on this. Actually, I'll send you one when I come out with my new one.
I would love that. Man.
Actually, you know what? I have something for you. I think you might like this. So this came from Norb's stuff, and it's Paul Anderson.
That's awesome, man. How cool is that, brother? Like this. I'm gonna hang that up in my gym, man. That's so cool. And here's what I'll do: I'll send a picture to his family, right? Because I still stay in contact a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will. That's amazing. Honestly, brother, that means a lot to me. That's amazing. God, I don't even know what to say. That's cool, bro.
No.
Really, really cool. So, here's the question. What could I lift in here that you think would be like, all right, this is something Brian could lift that would be good?
Well,
Or
let's
we
see.
could not, because
No. I use everything.
Do you?
I use everything.
this is what I wanted to hear.
No,
He
no,
uses
I
everything.
use
That's
everything.
what you need to do.
100%. I'm not, kind of like we were talking about. Some people get caught up in the values and they just want to look at it. No, I use everything.
That makes me very happy.
Well, I don't know if this might be too much. I don't know if anybody has ever hubbed this.
Okay.
It's a 102, and it has a very interesting hub. We can try that.
102 pounds.
So you know why that is? It's because when you added the bar and you had two of them, the starting weight was 250.
That's crazy, man.
Right?
Is it a straight? Boy, that would be something.
That would be out there. We can try it.
I mean, you'd have to put your fingers, 2 here, 1 in each of these, and then 1 here.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it like
Yeah.
that.
You want to give it a go?
Maybe we could warm up into
Okay,
that.
we can warm up
I
into
will
that.
try. I will.
Okay, how about
100%
this?
try.
How about
Yeah.
this? You want to hub the tall letters?
That would be.
Those are easy. Those are easy, but you can.
I mean, just to do it.
Yeah,
'cause
just to do it.
I mean, being in the
Here.
presence of those is something else. Are you into grip?
Yes.
You like the grip?
I do.
Okay.
The challenge with me is that I have tiny hands and tiny fingers.
To get
so
around
even
it.
though I have a pretty strong grip, but it's challenging for me.
Getting on it. That's awesome, man. So this would be 1930s.
1930s.
30s.
The very first ones.
And I'm assuming have you hubbed this?
No.
No.
It's too wide for me.
Is it too wide?
It's too wide for me. I can do the other ones, but not the really wide ones.
Has anybody ever done this?
Not here, no.
No.
Well, I'm sure maybe somebody. The problem is there's just not that many of them around.
No.
So people don't get the opportunity to.
Sure. Well, I have not done it. I've never been in the presence of one either, right? Do you know how many pairs of these would exist?
I know of about 6.
6 pairs. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's nothing.
That's such a cool hub, man.
Yeah. That's nothing for you.
Yeah.
Here,
no,
let's do back to back. Let's do the Jackson first gen.
Okay.
So for sure, nobody in the world has ever done these back to back.
Okay. Because they just don't
exist.
Yeah. So we're doing first ever. This is great. It's a little bit, obviously, quite a bit smaller. Huh? So tighter.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So I want to put them down super gentle. Lift them.
You break it, you buy it.
That's hey man. I don't want to walk out of here with an insane bill, you know.
Okay. Oh, you know, we should try a cross hub. So they made so there's not that many of these. These are very unique cross hubs.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen some of the Weeder ones.
Yep.
But you can see the family of the cross hub, which is the Gibson, the Jackson, the Strong, the Weeder. But I don't know that anybody has done these because, again, there's just not that many of them. These are actually from Johnny Gibson was a war hero, and he was out in Arizona.
Okay.
And he knew Jackson and he knew everybody, and so he made those.
Yes.
There you go.
Nice.
Good job.
Yeah, those are super cool.
Right?
Yeah, so would this have been before the Weeders?
Right around the same time. But
Okay.
the Weeders copied the Jacksons.
Okay.
And
So
Gibson did his own thing.
This
and
was
did it straight.
original to Gibson.
Yep. And I've always loved the really simple design.
It is beautiful, man.
Yeah. Let's see.
Gosh, those are.
Okay, what do you think? You want to try the big one?
I mean, now's
the time.
As good of time as there is, right?
Let's see.
I'm gonna put
This big monster. All right, Brian.
see if I can position this right.
Yeah.
Man, there's not a lot there. Let me see.
Oh, that is thin.
Yeah, it's like
It's really shallow.
It is shallow. Man, that's something. I mean, there's a little bit of texture there,
Yeah.
you know, but it's just not.
It's not enough, right?
Yeah, that's something else, man. I mean, if I could get my
Here,
maybe
let's
a
try.
little
So you
bit
can
lower?
see what I was telling you about. The 20 kilo is a little bit thinner than the regular 45. And you'll find, obviously it's lighter, but it's definitely tougher than a regular unmarked York. See what I mean?
Yeah, see, these are like.
There we go. Oh.
It's like I almost have to do it with 3 fingers on it. Let me see. Maybe I turn it this way. It's definitely.
It's harder, right?
It's almost like this one. Like the size of my hand. Like is it? Can you do this one?
No.
Have you done it? No?
It's too shallow for me.
Too shallow.
Yeah.
And it's curved. It seems
Yeah.
like it's curved up more. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Let me.
it's
We got to get that. All right, let's. Let's see this.
Uh,
There we go. That was better. Little bit of chalk. Little bit of chalk.
That's all you needed. Great
That's
job.
super cool, man. There's not a lot of those out there.
No,
either.
there's not a lot of those out there.
That's
I'm glad you were able to get it.
yeah. That's neat. But again, it has to be for me on that plate. It needs to be a 3
Your hand
finger.
is just
Yeah. A 3. It needs to be a 3-finger lift
Yeah.
only. We're just checking things off the list now, man. This is cool. So now they're checked off, but now we need to get them right to have them, which is going to prove to be a lot more difficult than lifting them, I think.
wherever you like it.
Move this one after I do it. Just right here.
Yeah, what do you think? I think that would be good.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Nice.
All right.
That's
Well, yeah, because
awesome, man.
you know what the issue is. I don't like singles, and so everything has to be in pairs.
Pairs. That's awesome, man. It's a little.
Thank you so
Awesome,
much.
man. That's an honor, man.
You
I
made my
appreciate
year. I feel so blessed to have you here.
That's awesome, man. Well, guys, I gotta say, I think this is gonna take me. It's gonna take me a little while to process all of this awesomeness, and I gotta say thank you to Ephraim for allowing me to come in, man. It's just, I mean, I've said it probably a number of different times, but the amount of love and dedication and work that you have put into this is unreal. Like, it's
Thank
just, this is next level. Like, you're just not, this is something you just don't see. So, it's awesome, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and the fact I got to lift some stuff, kind of one things, is incredible. So, I can't thank you enough, man.
Thank you. It was wonderful to have you.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
You made my year.
Your contribution to this community is very much appreciated, and I'm sure we'll stay in touch.
Definitely.
And,
I'm going to help you with those globes.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
You came to the right guy.
Yes, yeah, Carrie, don't listen. If my wife is listening, don't listen because we'll wait for the right time, but we're always adding to the collection. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This is special. It's really, really special. So hope you're all doing amazing. For now, go out and be great. Thank you guys later.